Hi, my name is Zahabia. Sorry. Hi, I'm Zahabia from Retail ME TV. I'm joined here by Anne Thomas from Craft Safari. Sorry, the Craft Safari. Thank you. Thank you. One second. Okay. Hi, my name is Zahabia from Retail ME TV. I'm joined today with Anne Thomas. Sorry. One more. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling today. Sorry.
Relax.
Come
5 and then start.
on. Okay. Hi, my name is Zahabia from Retail ME TV. I'm joined today by Anne Thomas from the Craft Safari. Hi, Anne. How are you?
Hi, Zabia. Thank you. I'm fine.
Thank you for being a part of this. Let's dive right into the interview. Tell us about the brand and the brand journey. What the inception of the brand looked like.
So, I am the founder of the Craft Safari. Craft Safari is, I would say, UAE's unique boutique for Indian handicrafts. We started as a Facebook page in October. It would be 14 years, and I think it's been as a journey. It's been really great, rewarding, humbling, and I mean, over these past 14 years, what is it that we have not seen? A lot of political changes, climatic changes, changes in consumerism, and but we always stay true to our roots. That is, we support our craftsmen, artisans, weavers across the length and breadth of India, and that is what we try to promote through the brand to our customer base who connects with us emotionally through our stories and through our products. So yes, it has been a very rewarding journey, a lot of challenges, but yes, we have survived it. So yeah.
So I'd like to touch on a little bit on the challenges that you face as a business, because as you mentioned that you source your materials from India. And so what does that process look like? How do you decide what is it that you'd like to bring to this market? And overall, 14 years is a long time. So what are the challenges you faced while setting up a business in the UAE?
So when we started off, I'm quite passionate about Indian handicrafts, and actually when I was trying to do up my home over here, I found that we couldn't get these products over here, and that's when we thought. I had a friend also. I mean, we both started it together. That's when we thought there would be other people out here who would be interested just like us, and because UAE has a very strong expat population where a good part of the population are Indians, we thought there would be a market for it, and that's how we started the brand. We started off with 2 handicrafts from a single state. Today we cover 65 crafts from 16 states of India. I travel across the length and breadth of India to understand craft, to understand the situation of the artisans, and to curate products exclusively for the store. So, I mean, there's a lot of planning behind this because it is handmade. There is a time process for it. So, I mean, and it is a very unorganized market. Though the Indian handicraft industry is very old as the Indus Valley civilization, there's a lot of, it's a very unorganized market, so there are its challenges.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if there's a passion for it, I mean, we'll try to find our way, and that's how we have survived in terms when you asked regarding sourcing of the products. But I mean, technologically, there's been a lot of changes. Like we started off like a Facebook page, tech changes, COVID happened. So I mean, even the climatic changes, they do affect the timeline of our products. So yes, I mean, but any challenge that comes in, we need to navigate and find a way out. So I mean, we've been able to do it successfully. I mean, that's why 14 years.
What advice would you give entrepreneurs? Because, like you said, it's been 14 years, and starting a business in this region is not easy. So, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs that are sort of on their journey to starting something? You've mentioned you're so passionate about, Indian crafts and kind of bringing that to this region. So, what would you tell entrepreneurs that are sort of maybe a little hesitant to start their journey?
I would say if you're passionate about something, take the plunge. I mean, take the plunge, do it. The country is very supportive in terms of entrepreneurial journey, and we have, I mean, the market is so vibrant with a lot of communities. We will always find our way, our niche into the market. That is what I believe in, and so I would say just take the plunge. I mean, we've got a lot of rules and regulations that support us, a lot of markets out here that we can explore. I mean, the market is extensive and there is opportunity over here. So I would say do it if it's something that you're passionate about, and I mean, it'll find its path.
Tell me a little bit about what your future plans look like for the brand. Any specific regional craft that you're trying to bring in this region?
So, I mean, all our products are very thoughtfully curated. Yes, we plan at least a year ahead, thinking which new community we can support, what products we need to add. We get a lot of customer feedback to understand what are the kind of products they're looking for, if it requires customization accordingly. So, and we have a very strong customer feedback loop. So and because I mean they are our strength. So depending upon the feedback that we get, we bring in artisans over here. We give them a platform to connect directly with the customers. We do workshops. So I mean, expanding on the workshop part is something that I would like to do. Like we had done an indigo dyeing workshop last year, and that's I always thought it catered to the Indian community, but that is when we had English, Spanish, Scottish locals who just came in, and I understood that Indigo binds us globally. So I mean, I'm looking out for those crafts to give them a platform so they can interact with the people over here. And definitely, we always have new products in the pipeline. I mean, like stitch garments is something that we started off this year. We want to expand it on a further basis, bring in more designs. And coming over here, I've seen there's so much of tech and AI happening. I mean, it can actually support what we do. So yes, I mean, incorporating AI, tech, and also taking it slow, because we believe in slow fashion, understanding consumers, exploring the social media. I mean, combining all this, yes, but we still stay true to our roots, true to our mission and vision, that at the end of the day we would like to economically uplift the artisans that work with us. Staying true to our roots, we take up whatever comes in our path. Yes, that's
amazing. And reaching the end of our interview, I want to know what is any regional craft that you can maybe elaborate a little bit on that's your favorite, or one that's really close to your heart.
Yeah. So when I started off Craft Safari, a place in Gujarat, in India, the northern part of Gujarat, Kutch, that place is very close to my heart, because I started working from there, and there's this particular fabric called Kala cotton. It's a fabric that is exclusive to the place, a weaver who weaves it. So I've always wanted to work with the fabric, and that's when we came out with this collection of stitched garments for office wear. We thought we could customize it to the taste of the people over here. So that fabric is very close to heart, and the family as such is also very close to me. And so I attach a lot of value to the collection that we have come out with. Yeah, that is one craft that is very close to me. There's a lot of crafts, I mean, every craft is close to my heart, because there's a lot of thought process in developing the products for the store. But this one particular craft, I would like to leave it.
And actually, I just thought of another question, so I thought I'll sneak that in. But for a business like yours, where you're so personally connected also with the craftsmen and with the art, you have an emotional connection there. So how do you take emotional and business as two separate verticals and try to make that work? Because of course we say mixing emotion and business is a good thing, but it only to an extent. So how do you sort of keep your emotions in check while also making sure that this is beneficial for the business?
So I mean, that is where the customers come in place, I feel. So like I said, we had a very strong customer feedback loop. So we try to understand what the customers want from us pertaining to what we do. Because demands can always be a lot. But even the customers understand us. They understand what we try to give. I mean, I think they are also mindful of what we do. So we are able to strike the balance between there. I mean, so we understanding the customer taste, and I mean, this community is just it is ever growing. It is just, I mean, it's changing over time. I mean, maybe customers I've had 14 years back, I mean, it's not the same now. So, and it's a very ever-growing, I mean, Dubai is like that. I mean, people come, go. So, I mean, I think customer feedback helps me to understand what people are looking out for. But staying true, like I said, to the roots, I think I'm able to strike the balance between both of them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and it was really, really insightful. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.